2019 Lexus GS F review. The GS F can be a characterful sports sedan that delights regardless of whether it cedes ultimate speed to others. It's simple to think the 2019 Lexus GS F is the identical thing as Lexus RCF, though with 4 doors as an alternative to 2. After all, both share a similar non-turbocharged V8, 8-speed automatic transmission and critically the entire front end. But the GS F seems to be a great deal more compelling execution. The GS F is enjoyable in a manner that sidesteps the arms race in the numbers game. Its 467 horsepower and 389 pound-feet of torque are almost quaint with this era of torque-laden turbocharged V8s. But it has character, making evocative sounds and pulling to comprehend urgency because the tachometer needle swings past 4,000 revolutions per minute. It gets its clock clean numbers-wise by much from the competition. But the GS F isn't slow. It's just which our modern performance expectations are warped. The GS F steering is often a delight. This is really a Lexus that driving enthusiasts could possibly get behind. If its character is a traditional sports sedan, its cabin is traditional Lexus, with outstanding quality and a long features list. Unfortunately, its remote touch infotainment interface is often a big letdown. Nevertheless, there is a lot to like concerning the GS F for anyone seeking a genuine driving experience. What's new? A limited edition 10th anniversary edition can be acquired for 2019, but otherwise the GS F is carried over from last year's model. For 2019, there are 2 versions on the GS F, the bottom and the anniversary edition. The latter has limitations edition and has now only cosmetic changes, so stick with the Camp GS F. Its options list is fairly short. Audiophiles should preferably tick the lamp for the Mark Levinson premium head unit, but that's concerning the only decision needed. The other choices are cosmetic other than a head-up display, which we'd skip. Trim levels and features. The 2019 Lexus GS F may be the high-performance version with the regular Lexus GS sedan, which we review separately. There are 2 trim levels, a loaded base version along with a limited edition 10th anniversary edition. They are essentially identical other than a few unique cosmetic products in the latter. All GSFs include a 5.0-litre V8 467 horsepower, 389 pound-feet of torque, rear-wheel drive as well as an 8-speed automatic transmission. Besides its engine, the GS F shines from lesser GS models which has a torquey vectoring rear differential, an adaptive sport-tuned suspension, sports steering, Brembo brakes, aerodynamic enhancements and special styling. Other standard features include auto-dimming mirrors, xenon headlights, automatic high beams, LED running lights, automatic wipers, adaptive cruise control, forward collision warning with pedestrian detection and automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, keyless ignition and entry, power adjustable front seats with memory functions, leather upholstery plus a power adjustable leader. Also standard will be the remote touch infotainment interface which has a 12.3-inch display, a navigation system, voice controls, Lexus Inform infotainment app suite and remote vehicle controls, a USB port, along with a 12-speaker sound system that has a CD player, satellite radio and HD radio. Options are restricted to different wheels, orange brake calipers, a head-up display, as well as a 17-speaker Mark Levinson head unit that also adds a 6th changer. Trim tested. Each vehicle typically also comes in multiple versions which might be fundamentally similar. The S with this review derived from our full test with the Lexus GS F 5.0 litres V8, 8-speed automatic, RWD. Driving. The GSF is surely an uncommonly rewarding sports sedan, even routine driving. The steering is sharp and communicative, and this inspires driver confidence. Its maximum thrust can't match others within the class, however it is not slow either. Overall, it's actually a pleasure to pilot. Acceleration. There's natural and responsive power delivery inside GSF. The V8 can be a bit recorded on low-speed grunt when compared to the turbocharged competition, but in no way is it slow. Heightened power is excellent in our testing. A GSF accelerated to 60 miles per hour inside a respectably quick 4.7 seconds. Braking. Good although not great brakes. In town or during hard driving, they give intuitive modulation. We observed some mild squealing during virtually every routine stop. In max-foot panic stops, the pedal feel may be better. Our measured stop from 60 miles per hour in 108 feet is good yet not class-leading. Steering. This steering is outstanding. Spot-on weighting with great on-center feel. Communicative like few modern steering racks. Actual road texture may be felt by the trucker. Quick and precise without ever being darty. It provides a good sense at all times in the grip at the front wheels. Handling. This sedan really shrinks near you on a canyon road. A hint of body roll provides a common sense of cornering loads. It responds well in your inputs. The variable differential settings come up with a big difference in cornering behavior. Drivability. Very well mannered. In routine driving, the transmission shifts smoothly and downshifts watchily. The engine is responsive coming from a stop. Sport and Sport Plus modes have suitably more aggressive shift schedules. But manual gear changes will not be quite as immediate as we would like. Comfort. Excellent seats plus a firm but compliant ride quality result in the GSF equal parts sports sedan and long-distance mileage. There's a little road noise, however it's not fatiguing. The climate control interface is button-centric, where'd prefer knobs. Overall, it is just a comfortable vehicle to use class. Seat comfort. The seats are particularly comfortable with modest bolsters that still are able to provide adequate lateral support. Medium firm padding. These seats appear to cradle all of your back quite uniformly with no significant pressure points. Back seat comfort is solid, too, even for taller people. Ride comfort. The ride quality is firm and still is able to take the edge off rough roads and many impacts. The variable dampers of 3 settings, and none is brutal. You know driving a sports activity sedan, however it's never punishing. Suitable for long-distance driving. Noise and vibration. Road noise at moderate speeds is a lot more noticeable. Personal computer ought to be for just a car with this class. Wind noise is well suppressed, even though the engine is quiet during cruising. Put the hammer down, though, therefore you get a good-sounding V8 well above 4,000 revolutions per minute. Climate control. It maintains set temperature adequately but doesn't often compensate for exposure to the sun as other systems do. The Albertan climate interface is not as easy or quick to use as people with knobs. The buttons are clearly marked at the least. Seat coolers are sufficiently effective when about the max setting. Interior. The home design is showing its age, nevertheless it has the fundamentals of driving position and visibility covered well. The cabin can be quite button-centric, and also a few seem to be oddly placed. The driving position is spot on. Ease beneficial. The primary controls and the majority secondary ones are placed. But there are several head scratchers, the parking alert button seemingly covered by the sliding console lid in the forwardmost position, for example. And we needed to consult the owner's manual to get the parking brake. Getting in, jetting out. The driver's seat and leader power out in the way to help you entry or exit. The GSF's wide lower body kit extensions hamper your movements somewhat, but otherwise it is a pretty easy car to buy. Driving position. It's an easy task to find the ideal driving position, having a good relationship involving the seat plus the steering wheel and pedals. And nice, wide dead pedal is positioned well regarding the brake and gas pedals. The telescoping wheel has decent reach, plus the driver's seat motors up fairly high. Roominess. All drivers will quickly realize ample headroom, rapidly compulsory sunroof. The driver's footwell is pleasingly wide. You obtain a nicer sense of width within the cabin, too. In back, there's enough headroom and legroom for 6-foot-tall passengers. On par with the category. Visibility. The cowl is just not especially low, though the Impel windshield compensates in order to avoid any sense sitting inside a bunker. There's good separation between your mirror and also the windshield spiller. The rear window squared off trailing edge expands the scene over your shoulder. Quality. The subdued cabin design incorporates many materials and integrates them precisely. The leather and faux suede are of high quality. Some vinyl padded surfaces and plastics employ a relatively subpar feel, making the cabin less rich than some competitors. An occasional muted creak from your dash. Utility. The amply sized trunk will swallow in abundance of gear. Orgasm is let down by way of a back seat that's fixed in position. There are lots of areas to store pieces of the cargo area and inside front portion in the cabin. It handles baby car seats well, although the lower latch anchors can become a bit of a hassle to attain. Small item storage. Solid choices for storing various items. There are large door pockets, a sliding lid center console bin which is a removable tray, as well as an average-size glove box. Back seat occupants consume a fold-down console having a lid and 2 deployable cup holders. Cargo space. The wider than average trunk opening has concealed gooseneck hinges and it is pretty deep. The back seat will not fold but incorporates a ski pass-through. Handy fold-down grocery bag hook, tie-down points and extra storage well within door. The deck lid is just not powered but is light and all too easy to manipulate. Child safety seat accommodation. The outboard seats have latch anchors which are tucked away along with a bit tricky to access. There's decent room for any rear-facing child seat, though the leading seat must be pushed very far forward. Technology. This cabin is behind the changing times when it comes to infotainment. The control interface is awkward, along with the native voice controls are subpar. There's no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto functionality, plus the screen graphics look old. But there is often a nice suite of driver aids as standard equipment. Audio and navigation. The remote touch interface is infuriatingly bad. The target icons are an easy task to overshoot, plus the feel is poor, with inconsistent haptic feedback, so that it requires a lots of glance time. The screen is large, but responses could be slow as well as the graphics are old school. A reason in order to avoid this car. Smartphone integration. Bluetooth pairing is intuitive and, as well as a USB outlet, an auxiliary jack and accessory power are given. Apple CarPlay or Android Auto is just not available. Instead, the GS F includes Siri Eyes Free. Driver aids. The comprehensive suite of driver aids, lane departure and blind spot alerts, lane keeping assist, Automatic emergency braking and high beams is usually set to get permanently off if so desired. The adaptive cruise cant are employed in stop-and-go traffic. Voice control. Slow responses and wildly incorrect navigation, even just in an ideal test condition parked, quiet, driver speaking clearly, don't give confidence within the GS F's native voice controls. You'll have to make use of Siri Eyes Free instead, but that applies just to iPhone users.